Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 6 of Spectator Mode. I am your host, JJ Piedra Joshua Jeremiah, and joining me on the line, as usual, is Mr. Nicknames Longer Than This Podcast, Keith Mitchell. What's going on, man?
I got many nicknames and a lot of time, and I'm on this podcast, so spitting out these dope rhymes. So what's up, folks? I got bored. What can I say?
Yeah, you get bored often. And then you go into our Discord and say a whole bunch of random stuff with no context like you did earlier today.
Wait, no, I didn't. Did I?
You
No.
grumbled about something, but you didn't actually say exactly what you were grumbling about. So we had no idea why you were grumbling.
I posted the article. Well, you know what? We will add that to the agenda. I'll fit it in.
I think he has something to say later on. But
but
we have another co-host with us today. Actually, he's a brand new member of the Outerhaven, Mr. Diego Perez. What's going on, man?
Video games, man.
Video games. I love them.
Video games. What are those?
So since you want to add it to the agenda, we're going to talk about, what games we were playing right off the bat. But since you have a gripe with EA and you've already teased us, we might as well just go ahead and change the format on the fly and lead with that. So, Keith,
but this one was about Epic Games.
Oh, this was about Epic Games.
Yeah.
Well, EA and Epic Games kind of the same thing. I mean, they're both game companies, right?
I don't want to start it off with something negative. We'll push this to the back.
All right, so stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to get spicy. So, games we want to play or are playing or are going to play. There's a lot of games out there. So, Diego, let's start off with you. What games have you been playing as of late, and why?
I've been playing a little game called Generation Zero. It's Avalanche's new game. I don't like it. It's not good. I'm just gonna preface with that. It is not a good video game.
It's not a good game. All right, so you're gonna tell us why it's not a good game, right?
Yeah. I got a lot of reasons why. Don't worry.
So
I've got about 4 or 5 hours in this game. I intend to go back and play more. I do want to see more of it, but yeah, it's not a full price game. It's a budget game. I think it's like $40. It's an open world survival game. You can play it single player, but you got to play this with your friends. Like, it's up to 4 players. Solo is not viable. Man, I play most of my games solo, which, I do not like playing with random strangers, which is another problem this game has.
So wait, you're telling me it forces you to play co-op, or
you can play by yourself, but the difficulty doesn't scale too well, and especially later in the game, once you start encountering more strong enemies, you need a team.
Oh, that's frustrating.
That is, there's not a lot of people playing, and there's not a great matchmaking system at all. Like, you have to go to the main menu and click multiplayer, and then you can't, there's a story in this game. It's very light, but there is a story. And the multiplayer, your only options are minimum number of players already in the game, and that's it. And then you just matchmake. So I played about 2 hours by myself, and I was like, I need a team. So I backed out, and I went to the multiplayer menu, and I searched for any game. I had the minimum was 1 player, so I'm like, all right, I need a partner at least. And then it put me in someone's game, and they were like at the end of the game. I checked my quest log. There were like 30 new quests, and I'm like, this is spoiling me.
Yeah, that
so I backed out, and I kept trying for like 20 minutes, and I kept getting people at different points in the story. And it doesn't save your quest progress unless you're at the exact same quest as the host. So I backed out and I started playing more solo, and this game does not work solo. It is not a fun it's like playing PUBG by yourself. It very much feels like somebody took a battle royale map and just poured it into a single player game. Because every house in this game is the exact same. The layout is all the rooms, and even like the paint on the walls. And the houses, they have like these embroidered like little messages. It's like, this house is great or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's a nice touch. But it's the same like 1 or 2 messages in every house. It's bad, and the combat isn't great either. It's all fighting robots, and you're supposed to shoot like certain weak spots, kind of like Horizon, but the shooting doesn't feel good at all. The shooting is not great. And the looting isn't great either. The UI is awful. The inventory management is bad. I had the game crash on me twice in 3 hours, but it crashed at the worst times because I was trying to drop some things on the floor to manage my inventory. Like, I had a shotgun, and I found a better one on the floor, but my inventory was full, so I had to like detach my attachments on my shotgun and then drop my old shotgun to pick up the new one. And as I was doing that, I dropped some things. The game crashed.
Now,
So
when
I
you say
lost all
crash,
of that.
when you say crash, for the sake of the audience, you were playing this on the PC, right?
I was playing on PlayStation 4.
Oh dear God, that makes it even worse.
Oh god.
Yeah, it crashed to the PlayStation menu, and that happened twice. And I lost all of those things because whenever you load the game back up, it spawns you at a safe house. But none of the new safe houses I found were like loading in as spawn points, so it was back to the beginning of the game, and it's just walking through a lot of nothing. It was not a fun time, but I'm gonna go back and play more.
That sounds fairly disappointing. And you're a trooper for going back in, but I've heard a lot of people saying that the game wasn't very good, but they didn't elaborate as to why it wasn't good. So, yeah, and they were hyping up this game too for a while.
Yeah, I mean the soundtrack's really cool. That's one thing I can praise, but that's about it. That's really all I can praise about this game, and it
Well,
sucks because I was looking
disappointing.
forward to playing it.
And you said there's not a lot of people playing it. They're probably playing the Division 2.
They're probably playing anything else.
Anything else but that. What a shame.
Damn.
Ah,
Well, that's one game I'm not gonna, go out and spend $40
Yeah,
on.
don't play this game.
would you
Jeez.
play it if you got it for free?
No.
Okay.
From the sound of it, that's not even worth free. I'd want my money back if it was free.
Yeah, it's not. It's not worth. Maybe
You
just
want,
check
you
it
want
out
money. You want money back for your time. I see. I got you.
Yeah.
Pay me for
because
playing
it's
this game.
got some cool ideas like 1980 Sweden. It's like an alternate history kind of thing. Like it's a unique setting, and the soundtrack's great, and the enemy designs are kind of cool. But it's a lot of decent ideas that are very poorly executed, and the rest of it's just so bland and forgettable. Reminds me of
Wow.
Fallout 76 in a lot of ways. The story's told in the same way. They're like audio logs and notes.
That's all you had
But
to say. It's Fallout
yeah,
76.
I think I found the notes and audio logs in Fallout 76 more compelling, which is not a good sign.
Yeah, because that game is crap as well. Okay. Cross that off my list.
So, what's on your list, Keith, and what are you playing that's hopefully better than this game?
Well, I can tell you I've been playing a game that is leaps and bounds better than that game, and that was Shikiro, excuse me. I finally beat it. I played about 65 hours in the game. I know that's probably a little bit too long, mostly because I was trying to record some footage of guides of not dying when I fight a person to make me look like I know what I'm doing. Outside of that, a lot of exploration and a lot of picking up my controller and tossing it across the room because a boss would kill me over and over and over, and it would do really cheap stuff. But outside of that, the game is amazing. As many people know, it's the next game from Software, the people who made Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, Armored Core, and I've been just smitten. I've been playing it ever since I got access to the game. It's an amazing game. It's a completely different beast from playing Dark Souls or Bloodborne, and that's the good thing about it. You actually get to play as a shinobi. The combat's actually a lot more fast paced. The bosses are amazing. Speaking of which, there are a crap ton of bosses in game. Bosses you have to fight to do for progression, hidden bosses, just stuff that's hidden outside of your normal path. So the game is not very linear. You can do random stuff outside your main quest. It's a lot of fun. My only complaint with the game, and it's probably because it's my first time playing, is that it is still too long. Dark Souls, you can beat those games within a good 20 hours or so. This game is just, it's outstayed its welcome. But outside of that, the game has been phenomenal. Outside of that, I've been dipping back and forth with the Division 2 because I want to get involved in that game a lot more. But those are the two games that have my time for now.
Nice. Yeah, actually, I saw QTT6, who actually just had his world record in Mega Man 11 taken from him. He's actually learning Sekiro to speedrun.
I saw somebody do an hour on a speedrun, and I didn't watch it. I saw it say an hour, and I was like, I'm done. Because, okay, these speedruns, do they count traversing through the world, or just getting to the boss and killing the boss? What qualifies as an actual speedrun?
Well, it all depends. I know several games have different categories. There's what's called 100%, where you basically beat the game as fast as possible while collecting everything the game has to offer. And there's usually any percent, which is basically just do the opposite. Beat the game as quickly as possible. Who cares about what's in there to collect?
Because I'm looking at one right now. He says, reported PC Gamer, somebody named Dan Flesh 111 on Twitch has managed to beat. All right, so it's any percent run of the game in under an hour. So
Yeah.
I guess,
So just get to the end as fast as possible to beat the game.
but this says you did it in an hour. I mean, come on, an hour? I have to go back. I have to go watch it then.
I mean, as you saw in some of the videos I linked, there's like AI loops you can do. There's basically things you can do to cheese bosses. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's a whole bunch of like different strats. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like zipping or clipping strats or, you know, something to skip parts of a level that are actually in there.
Yeah, there actually is a fair number of bosses you actually can cheese to very easily. Yeah, as I'm looking, there's a lot of people that have beaten the game an hour, hour 25, hour and a half, an hour. Yeah. Yeah, so I'll have to go back and watch these to see exactly what they did.
And the best part is it's only going to get faster over time.
Yeah, people only get better at these games. I can't wait to see a no-hit run for this and then the entire Soul series and Bloodborne.
Oh,
Just
it looks
the
like
From Software no-hit.
It looks like some people were doing this for skipping bosses. So, there was that one guy a couple days ago who finally did the no-hit run of all the From Software games. Well, Dark Souls, and I think Bloodborne.
Soulsborne games, yeah. But
Yeah,
I want Sekiro on that list now too.
I don't know if that's going to be possible. I mean,
it's possible.
We'll have to see. It's going to take some people some time. I mean, we're finally getting the first person to do that. Dark Souls 3 has been out for how many years now? 3? 2 or 3?
Yeah, it's going on 3. It'll be 3 next month.
So it's going to be a while before we see that happening.
Yeah. It'll get there, though. I mean, it's an eventuality. And someone's going to do it, and then they're probably going to commit suicide afterwards. I mean, this is how it goes. But as for me, I just picked up a game thanks to Viz Media. They provided us a review copy for the PC and the Switch. I have a review of it. It's called The World Next Door. It's Viz Media's very first video game. They actually teamed up with Rose City Games, who I actually haven't heard of before.
Me neither.
To create this. And the game is kind of like a potpourri of different genres. I mean, it's got visual novel aspects to it. It's got RPG elements, which unfortunately don't really mean much. I'll get to why in a second. But it also has like a match 3 or more puzzle combat system, which is actually pretty interesting. So essentially, you're a girl named June. You basically go through a portal to the planet Emrys because I guess it's like a twin Earth. And even though we're so far away in space, once I think a year they open up a portal to both worlds so that people can go across and meet each other and have fun, all thanks to a peace treaty after a long bout of war. So June basically meets her friend Lisa over there, and she takes June down to a shrine, teaches her how to use magic, and lo and behold, they spend too much time, and predictably the portal closes, and June is now stuck on Emrys. And now you basically have to find a way back home, because if humans live on Emrys way too long, they kind of die. So it's a race against the clock, even though there's no clock in the game. So you're going to different shrines because you kind of find out that the sword you have basically is the key to opening the portal, and the shrines basically give you this little rune that will light up 4 different things on the portal and send you home. So that's pretty much it. It's essentially a rinse and repeat game. You basically start off the story, you go to a shrine, you collect the rune, you listen to the story, rinse, repeat 4 times, and you win the game. It's actually really short, which is kind of expected. It's only a $15 title, so you're not going to get like hours upon hours of content. I think my second playthrough on the Switch, I clocked in at just a little under 2 hours for completion. So it's a quick game, but it's pretty interesting as far as the combat system goes. Every time you fight an enemy, you basically get these runes on the ground. There's 5 different color runes. You basically match 3 and a different attack happens. So there's blue runes, which do instant attacks no matter where the enemy is. Orange runes, which launch fireballs, but they can miss if the enemy is moving too much. There's yellow runes, which basically create a static shock on the floor where the runes are, which stuns enemies if you lure them into them. And there's purple runes, which basically shoot a void orb, which slows them down and deals ticking damage as they basically have the orb pass through them. And finally, green runes, which, as you can imagine, heal you. So that's how your healing mechanic works. You can basically activate spells next to other runes that you've chained together, and will actually empower those runes to do double damage. So there's a little bit of strategy there. But a lot of the enemies are kind of cheap, especially ones that chase you. they basically can team up on you very quickly and drain your health. So they're actually pretty challenging in that regard. And the enemies themselves are actually more challenging than the bosses. I have not died to a single boss on both my playthroughs, but
It's
I've
because
died
you're too
plenty of
OP.
times to enemies.
You're too OP. That's why.
Yeah, that's
You know
pretty
what?
much
That actually sounds like a lot like Shiriko, because you can get through an area and go right through the boss, but the enemies you encounter sometimes will just kill you instantly. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of cheap moments like that in the world next door, but you don't have to deal with many enemies. I think there's like maybe 4 or 5 encounters per shrine, and then you face a boss. So there's not really that much in the way of dangerous content to go through. There are a bunch of side items you can pick up. There are some side quests, but the side quests don't really do anything. They give you some cool collectible items, and they're shiny in your inventory, and that's kind of about it. Some of the items do help with some of the side quests, but the side quests don't really reward you with anything useful. They don't give you any power-ups or anything like that. As a matter of fact, leveling up is automatic in this game. You don't fight monsters for experience. As soon as you start a new shrine, you're automatically granted your next level. And the only thing that a new level does is it allows you to call an extra friend into battle if you match up the 6th type of rune, which is white. And you have to basically form 3 distinct patterns in order to call them forth. And they do a super attack, which can actually miss. So they're not even that useful. Outside of that, the RPG elements are basically non-existent. So I don't even know why they would classify it as part RPG. It's not. Visual aspect, or the visual novel aspect, I should say, is there in full force. But the only problem is that the choices you make have it's like the most insignificant impact ever. Like there's no actual branching story, no multiple endings. I guess if you want to get technical, there might be a multiple ending if you count a certain character's dialogue being like the only alternate ending there is. And it all depends on who you befriend throughout the whole game. You get 1 extra line of dialogue from that person you basically befriended. That's it.
Would you consider this game a budget game then, perhaps? How is the production value of it?
Well, the production value is pretty good. Artwork is amazing. Soundtrack is amazing. The combat system is actually pretty intuitive. It keeps you on your feet, quick-paced, engaging. This is everything else kind of falls short. Length of the game, quality of the story, calling it a visual novel when there's really no multiple branching paths. And like on the PC, I played the Paragon. I was best friends with everyone. And then I was the biggest asshole in the world on the Switch. And essentially the story was exactly the same. As a matter of fact, it was kind of hilarious when you were the asshole the whole entire time. You're really shitting on all your friends and they're still like acting like your best friends, like with no consequence whatsoever. It's like, I guess they just like getting shit on Emrys. I mean, it's pretty hilarious. But yeah, I would say it's a budget title. For our first attempt at a video game, I would say that Viz did a pretty decent job with it. Rose City Games did a decent job with it. It's got pretty much no replay value, though. That's the only thing that's really going to hurt this title. But again, for $15, if you have a couple hours to kill, extending to maybe 3 hours if you do all the side quests, it's a pretty good pickup. I mean, it's not that bad.
All right. Anything else? Or just that game?
Well, as you probably saw,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go.
Say it.
Lubing up my foot with some hot sauce, got a little bit of salt and pepper on there, about to stick it in my mouth. Yeah, I went back to World of Warcraft.
Goddamn traitor.
Well, to be fair, I did the free weekend, and my friends in the guild were all like, dude, we need you to come back. And I'm like, why should I? And I'm like, well, they fixed a lot of the systems. The gear system's a lot better now. The artifact system is going to get fixed in 8.2, but even still, getting Azerite armor is a lot better now. You actually can target different pieces when you get a currency called Residium, and you can get that just from scrapping like your current Azerite armor and stuff like that. So they made it a lot more accessible, a lot less grindy, I guess. So it was a lot of fun when I went back. The island adventures are much improved. They have actually things to do in there now. Mythic Plus is still Mythic Plus. There's a second, what do you call it? Warfront. And now that they're alternating, there's always one up. You don't have to wait like several weeks for your turn. So they made some good improvements, and there's a lot of better improvements coming in 8.2. So I gave it a second chance, and needless to say, I'm actually having fun.
So does that
I guess
mean
it all
I'm not going to
matters.
get the? So does that mean we're not going to play the Division 2 now? You're just going to be stuck in WoW forever.
No, I actually pretty much already caught up. Believe it or not, the new raid that we're doing requires item level 385 to start off with, and I came back at level 368. That was 4 days ago. As of yesterday, I'm 391. That's how easy it was to get caught up.
All right, WoW.
And I already
still not
cleared
going
6
back.
out of the 9 bosses on heroic mode. So,
Well, one
But-
of us is still staying true to not going back. I am not going back. Not happening.
but as
Not
far as
happening.
Division 2, no, it will not hamper by playing in the game, at least not on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sunday nights. But I'll still play it. I mean, I'm actually taking WoW in more moderation this time. Now that I've actually pretty much caught up, it's going to be like a raid situation, maybe log on once a weekend to do my Mythic Keys, and that's about it.
All right. Well, I guess that's been everything we've been playing so far. So let's look at this list of topics, see what we want to talk about next. What do we got here? We've got so many things here.
Well, let's go with number 2. Why not? Let's go number Borderlands 3. Finally got announced, and I'm going to let you talk about this, Keith, because I admittedly have not played the Borderlands franchise, and I don't aim to. So shame on me, I know, but go ahead. Tell us how excited you are for Borderlands 3.
Well, I'll tag team this with Diego because I know we both watched the stream, and it was actually a pretty interesting stream. Randy Pitchford being Randy Pitchford, being a troll as always. As far as the game is concerned, we still don't know a lot of it. The introductory trailer we got before the actual announcement actually had me peaked because there's a lot of stuff I saw, a lot of returning characters, a lot of new things, and he gave us some information about what we can expect, but we're not going to find out more until was April 3rd. Is that what he said? I don't remember exactly. I think he did say April 3rd. So, but as far as the announcement, I'm happy because we've been waiting for this for years. Every year they would say, hey, we're going to show off Borderlands 3, and they never do it. And as you know, there's a lot of games that have an issue of counting to 3. Portal 3, Half-Life 3. So a lot of people were like, are we ever going to get this follow-up? And we finally did. There's not really a lot to talk about. I mean, co-op is back. Was it 4-player co-op?
Yeah, and they're adding 4-player co-op to the first game, the remaster.
Crap ton of guns. New places we're going to, including some places that people were hoping were going to be in the game. Found out a couple other things, like everybody was assuming that Handsome Jack was coming back. He's not. Randy said he's dead. He's not coming back. He could be trolling us. He definitely could be trolling us because that stream at PAX was definitely trolling us a lot of times. Oh man, there's just so much. As a fan of the series, even though I didn't play the prequel because I wanted to stay away from it. Honestly, I had my fill with Borderlands 2. I was waiting for 3, not that. I'm very excited that they finally announced this, and I'm waiting to see what happens on April 3rd. As far as a release date, we don't know. I'm hoping April 3rd tells us a little more, and hopefully, if it does come out this year, it doesn't come out at a bad time.
I don't think we'll see a date on April 3rd. I think maybe just another like a gameplay trailer or something. I think we're gonna get a date at E3.
That would
on
make
Microsoft
more sense.
Stage. I think it's coming out this fall though, because it's been in development for 5 years. That's a long development time. I think this game is ready.
Well, let me tell you about a game called Duke Nukem Forever.
Yeah.
Vaporware.
I mean, I remember that game. I remember taking the bus to college, reading about it in PC Gamer. Or was it PC Magazine? No, it was Computer Gaming World Magazine. That is now gone. I remember reading about that, and I finished and dropped out and got an actual job and an apartment, and the game still wasn't out. And then when it finally came out, how many years was it? It was a long time. I forgot how many years it was.
14 years?
And it came out, and it was crap. Utter complete crap.
But then sometimes you get The Last Guardian, and that game was awesome.
Yeah, I think that's the exception because we had another game that had a really long development time. What was that, Final Fantasy?
15. originally versus 13. I liked 15. It was not perfect though.
I'm sorry, I couldn't play it. I own 2 copies of it now. I have one for the PC, and I have the collector's edition. And I just I can't get around the battle system. I'm sorry, I'm an old school Final Fantasy fan. I like my turn-based combat. I thought what they did was nice, but no, I didn't like that.
But Final Fantasy 12 also had like real-time battle as well. It was actually kind of like almost like a single-player MMO with the macro
12 had
system.
MMO combat.
But I didn't play that one either.
Well, maybe you should.
You know, I got I have a copy of it.
12 is better than 15, so at least try 12.
I mean, Square Enix gave me a copy of it like last year when they came out with the updated version for the PlayStation 4. Maybe I'll play that if I can find the code. Great. Now I go
it takes a while to get going, but like 12 is one of the better Final Fantasies, I think.
All right,
but everybody has their favorites.
Mine is 9. I will always
love 9.
No love for 7?
7's good. I prefer 6 over 7 though. I'm one of those guys.
Yep, that's same fine. Here. 6 over 7. Actually, I would say 9, 4, 6, then 7 would be my top 4.
Not X2? For shame.
Oh my God, Charlie's Angels? No.
What could I do for you? I heard they were. It was a rumor they were going to work on a Final Fantasy X3.
Yeah,
please don't.
I don't see that happening. That's such a Square Enix.
You broke up a little bit there. Say it again.
I don't think it's going to happen, but that's such a Square Enix move if they were to do it.
It'd be funny if they did it, but that was like what? No, actually, they commented on last year. What did they say? I was looking up something. What did they say about it?
Let's hope they say they're not making it, because I'm sure I'm not going to buy it.
They said currently Final Fantasy X latest story is recorded in a voice drama for the HD remaster. But when we decided to include the voice drama, the staff was very excited about the thoughts of, don't you want to make a Final Fantasy X3? However, most of them have been busy, so we haven't been able to make it happen yet. It doesn't say they're not doing it. Yeah. It just says not yet.
That would Final be awesome. Fantasies. Tetsuya Nomura said that once Kingdom Hearts 3 was released, it's all going to be about Final Fantasy 7 remake and news about that. Well, we're almost 4 months into the year, Mr. Nomura. Where is the news? We're waiting.
I think we're going to see something about that at E3 as well.
Oh, we better. You would think that'd be at PlayStation stage though, but they're not going to be there.
Nope. I mean, but isn't that coming out on multiple platforms?
First to PlayStation 4 is what Sean Layden said, but that was 4 years ago, so I don't know. Plans might have changed.
Yeah, things might have changed.
It was also supposed to be episodic originally. I think they scrapped that because they started development over from scratch.
Yeah, they did. I don't want to see any more episodic games. No, don't do that. Please don't do that.
Especially not Final Fantasy.
Yeah, especially not Final Fantasy. Don't do that.
Yeah. All right. I mean, it was bad enough that the old games were across multiple discs. Don't make me buy multiple games for the same title.
You mean you don't want to buy? Well, I mean, how many times have you purchased Final Fantasy VII over the years?
Actually, not as many as you would think. I have it, obviously, the original disc for PS1. I have it on PC and PS3 and PS4. Not as much as Final Fantasy IX, though, which I have it on those 4 systems and the Nintendo Switch.
Good times, good times. I'm going to switch away from this because we were talking about Borderlands and we completely moved away from that. So, Apple finally announced that they're working on the gaming service. They have been rumored to be working on one for quite some time. And this week, we finally got wind of it, and it's called Apple Arcade. And I'm actually pretty excited for it, which is really odd because for many people who've read my articles, you know my stance on Apple. Everybody in my family has an Apple device. I like their hardware. I think their hardware is amazing. They're phenomenal. I don't like their business practices. I think they're anti-consumer at times. But what they're offering with the Apple Arcade is basically the opposite of what almost everybody's doing. It's sort of like Xbox Games Pass, where they're going to provide you with over 100 games. Some are new and exclusive to the Apple Store. And you'll be able to get a subscription service, and you'll be able to play any of these games in the catalog. Download them to your Apple TV, to your Mac OS, iPhone, or iPad. And you're free to go to town. And the cool thing is they have so many different companies lined up that are supposedly working on these games. The fact that they're telling us they're going to be exclusive games developed exclusively for this service. And some of the people on there that I've seen the list, like, wow, these companies are actually pretty big. And Konami's on there. I was like, wait, Konami's on there? What are you going to give us? Rehashes of your old games, which isn't a bad thing. I would kill for a new Contra. That'd be great. But the prospect of it and what they're offering. So family sharing is going to be on there. 6 people, 6 people across the account. What does it say? They haven't announced any special hardware yet because you can use existing hardware. But I was assuming that they would at least say, hey, there's this exclusive controller or a controller made specifically for this, especially for Apple TV or the iPad. So we'll have to wait and see because they said there's more information coming later on down the road. But the big news about that is, and this is something that nobody's done as far as I'm aware of in the mobile gaming space, is similar to what they're talking about with Google Stadia. You can play on your iPhone and then pick up your game on the iPad or your Apple TV. It's cross progression across all the platforms. So you can start a game on one system and pick it up on the other system, which I think is great because I know for a fact Google doesn't do this. And I know how many times that I've done this on Google. I played a game and I go play it on my tablet and it's like, oh, well, your game save's not there. You got to start over again. I hate that. So I'm glad to see that Apple is actually doing that. Hopefully Google follows with their mobile devices. If they're not too busy with, streaming and making everybody's game experience, maybe not the best. And so I'm so excited about this. I actually told my wife that I'm going to go pick up an Apple TV for the site so I can check it out when it comes out and see what all the big news is about. Because I'll be damned if I'm going to play a game on a touchscreen. Not happening.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Some big names on this too. Like they got the creator of Final Fantasy, they got the creator of The Sims. Are they making exclusive content, or just did they say anything about that?
Exclusive for Apple service or for Apple Arcade.
And now I have to subscribe.
And exactly.
A choice.
Exactly.
These are big names.
Exactly. And I was like, wow, I have to do this. And I want to play these in the comfort of my own home because I don't own an iPad. I mean, I could take my wife's or my daughter's, but I don't want to. I don't want this. Give me a controller, let me play with these, and I'll be happy. Like Oceanhorn 2, I love the first one. They've got Beyond the Still Sky on there. Sumo Digital's on there. We already know that Sonic's coming on there. And
Shantae 5, right?
Yep. Shantae 5 is coming out for it. Miss Walker's on there from back on from the Dreamcast days. Yeah. Or I'm sorry, not Dreamcast, Xbox. They did a couple of games for Xbox. They did, what was it, Blue Dragon? And
Lost Odyssey.
Yep, and Lost Odyssey. Great games. Devolver Digital is on there. Platinum Games is on there.
Ooh.
So it's like, wow, these are some really big companies making stuff for this system or for this service. So yeah, I'm actually pretty excited about this. Not excited.
I'm just over here like, where's Android Arcade? I'm like, oh wait, that's Stadia.
Yeah, see, this is why when I talked about this and I did the everything you should know about this, you guys should check it out if you haven't read it yet. I'm pretty much fanboying over this because the stuff that they're doing that nobody in the mobile space is doing. Which is you like looking at this like, why hasn't anybody done this yet? This is good stuff. So we'll have to wait and see. We might hear more information about it at E3. Service will roll out at fall 2019. We don't have a price yet, but we do know it will be rolling out in 150 countries. We don't know if it's going to be all at once or an eventual rollout. So I will be following this because I am excited about this.
Yeah, me too. No, I love, I don't want it to replace the way we buy games, but I think services have proven themselves to have a place in the gaming market, especially with stuff like Xbox Game Pass.
If you can provide me a service that is cheaper than buying a full-fledged game and give me a taste of the game. Okay, let me back up. If you can let me play that game, the full game, and say I'm addicted, say it's a role-playing game and I want to play it, and I want to keep playing it, and it's about to rotate out, I can go buy it because I played it. I didn't spend $60 on the game. I paid $10 to play it. You sold me on a game, so you made your money on a game that I may or may have not had a purchase, and then you hooked me, so I went out and bought the game anyway. So you made your money twice. I think, like you said, services for this sort of thing is the future. Give us a taste or give us access to the entire thing. We've already seen the growth from Xbox Game Pass It's one of the Microsoft's biggest money earners of 2018. It's gotta be
Game
for
Pass
a
makes them
reason.
a lot of money, which
Yeah,
is still blows my mind.
people didn't think it would work out.
When that launched, everyone was like, "How is that going to make them money?" But like I've seen it firsthand because like I would never buy Forza Horizon 4 at a store like that. But I played a lot of Forza Horizon 4 on Game Pass, and I've considered buying the DLC multiple times. And I'm like, "They got me. This is how they make the money."
That's how they make the money.
Well, I mean, to be fair, when you see the actual alternative to Xbox Game Pass, which is PlayStation Now, you kind of see why it's making more money.
Yeah. You can download some PlayStation Now games, just not the ones you want to play.
Yeah, they finally got on board. I was like, well, this streaming thing isn't working.
But it's just because the PlayStation 4 is not powerful enough to emulate PS3 games. It just can't be done.
Well, I mean, there are the rumors about PlayStation 5 doing all of that.
I think the 5 will. I think it'll be powerful enough to brute force it.
Which is funny.
PlayStation 3 cell processor is so weird, but the 5 should be powerful enough to do it.
But yet, this is coming from a company where the people running the show were saying, why would people want to go back and play old games? Why would people want to play retro games? And it's like, hey, this is why.
Why? Because I paid money for these games. I would like to play them again.
Not even that. They're fun. They're enjoyable. Just because the game doesn't have, Hollywood graphics or a fully orchestrated soundtrack doesn't mean they're not fun. I mean, we were playing old school Nintendo games and TurboGrafx 16 games and Super Nintendo games for a reason, because we enjoy them. They don't have to look the best. They're fun.
We have to remember old games. Like, we got to preserve them. We can't just let them be forgotten. Like, it's really important.
I mean, to be honest, I've been playing my Super Nintendo Classic the last couple of days. I modded it finally and put a shit ton of Genesis games on there and Nintendo games on there, and I've been playing River City Ransom and Shadow of the Ninja. It's like, wow, I miss these games. They're fun.
Yeah, a lot of games, most games back then don't hold up, but like the few standout ones that everybody talks about, they definitely hold up. Like Chrono Trigger come out today, and I would pay for it. That game is so good.
That Secret of Mana is still a good one. Super Castlevania, I love that game so much.
Well, I mean, Secret of Mana did come back out. They came out with the remastered version, which got some pretty mixed reviews on it.
No, that was just the other games. What was it?
It was Symphony of the Night and then Rondo of Blood.
Yeah.
Only on PS4. They're doing another collection though.
And yeah, they are.
Contra and
the Castlevania collection, Contra, and arcade classics. That's going to be good.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm picking all those up. And Keith, you were wondering about Konami on Apple Arcade. They did announce what game they're doing.
Oh, which one is that?
It's not Contra. It's not Metal Gear. It is Frogger in Toy Town.
No! What the fuck?
Yeah.
What?
Rip Keith.
They have so many games. Oh my god! What the? They could put all the Metal Gears on there. I don't care if they gave us old games. They could give us Snatcher. Give us freaking Snatcher.
Snatcher would be so good.
Zone of Enders. Oh my god. Give us a shooter collection. Something. Now I'm sad. God.
It makes sense because like the mobile audience, they're gonna recognize Frogger, but like, man, I want to play Metal Gear on mobile.
The mobile audience? So to me, like the Atari 2600 audience, because that's where I remember Frogger from, and goddamn, I'm old.
Just when you remember that you said that you're old, remember I'm still older than you.
This is true.
They could give us Suikoden 1, 2, and 2. They could give us that, and we'd be happy as well. Oh God! Now, you know what? I'm done. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Let's talk about something else. Damn it!
Well, the only topic we have left is kind of a dismal topic. The one that's going to get a little spicy. Your thoughts on EA and I guess now Epic layoffs.
Here we go.
You know what? Let's talk about Epic. Let's talk about Epic real quick because Epic always is in the front of every article I do every week. I would love to get through a week without something happening because of Epic Games or the Epic Game Store. So today there was some talk about a game that I really like. I've talked to the developer multiple times. I played it at PAX a couple years ago. I own every copy of it with the exception of the one on the Switch. And that one is Assault Android Cactus. And apparently the team that developed the game, Witchbeam, tried to get the game onto the Epic Game Store, and they were flat out told, no, come back in a year. Which is really odd because this is a game that's been rated highly. It scored well on both OpenCritic and Metacritic. it sells well on Steam. It has a high rating on Steam. And everybody who's played the game said this is easily one of the best twin stick shooters they've ever played. So the question is, why is it that you've got a certain amount of indie games because of backroom deals on Epic Games Store, but when somebody approaches you with a game like this, an amazing game, an amazing soundtrack, amazing gameplay, online co-op or online and couch co-op, wait, no, that's right, it's just online leaderboard, excuse me, and it's just an amazing game. The production value is amazing, and it only costs you $15, but yet they're rejecting it. And the problem I have with this is because the way Epic has been going, they pretty much said they're going to create every game that comes to the store. But to me and to a lot of other people, it's basically saying we're going to say this and we're going to reject the game because we don't like it or we got out on the wrong side of the bid. But they don't have to be completely transparent because they've already said we're not going to accept certain games. In fact, what they did say a couple months ago was basically, if we don't accept the game, it's because it's crappy. They basically said, this is what they said. We'll have a quality standard that doesn't accept crappy games. We'll accept reasonably good quality games of any scale, whether it's small indie games to huge AAA games, and we'll take everything up to an R-rated game or an M-rated game. And a quality game to me is a game that it's fun. It's enjoyable. It does all the right things. So after what I just read to you guys, if I submitted a game to Epic Games and it got rejected, wouldn't that feel to you that, okay, you said you would take any game other than crappy games, that my game is crappy? Because you rejected it.
It's definitely the message that they're sending there.
Exactly. And it's like, what? So basically, your entire front for creating games is to reject whatever you don't want there, no matter how good the quality is. And the problem that I have with that is this is not the first time they've done that. They've been rejecting indie developer after indie developer ever since Epic Games Store has been a thing. Yet they're here trying to get a foothold in the market, and their only tactic right now is to buy up games, make them exclusive, put them on a store, which is something they said they're not going to continue because they can't keep doing it. It's not very, what's the word I'm looking for?
It's not viable.
It's not viable. Thank you. But yet you got a game that'll sell great on your storefront, and you're rejecting it. And other games in the same situation, which doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, like I said, I've talked to the guy who helped work on this game, the designer. I've met him multiple times. I've talked to him multiple times, and he's a good guy. In this game, I mean, I don't know if you remember, Josh, when this game first came out, but I talked about this game nonstop. I've played this game for hours on end. If you go online, there is not a bad review of this game. But yet, it's not good enough for their store, which is, I don't know, it's just frustrating to see how they're not playing right. And a lot of people stated that this is exactly what Steam did once upon a time ago, to the point where Steam had to stop because people were getting frustrated. People were telling Steam that this is not the right thing to do, and Steam listened. And because of Steam, the indie gaming scene, it flourished. There were people that opened up their own gaming store and you bought the game through them and there was no DRM. But ever since Steam became more embracive, a lot of people kept coming to Steam and you kept seeing these indie games on Steam. They got pushed to the forefront and you're like, oh, I never knew about this game. And you play it. Obviously, it's a lot harder now because there's so many games on Steam. It's super saturated, which is why they wanted to go to Epic Games Store and say, hey, you don't have a lot of games. This game is great. Put this on your store. And Epic's like, no, we don't want it. It's just mind-boggling that they're, I don't know. I don't want to say they're being asshats, but they're being asshats. Sorry.
Well, I mean, you made a point there about trying to control the content on your store because, as you just mentioned, when people complain about it on Steam, Steam just became a site that has some good titles on there and mostly a whole bunch of shovelware. But obviously, by saying that, that also means that Android Assault Cactus could also be considered shovelware because it was, rejected when it's not actually the case. And that's what the problem is here. So it's kind of basically, in my view, Epic trying to play that role of where they are trying to filter games, but they're not exactly filtering it the right way they're supposed to.
Pretty much. I'm just frustrated. And I know a lot of people are as well. I mean, there was a lot of talk about it over at Recent Era, Twitter, on Reddit, and we're all saying the same thing. Epic Games need to stop being so full of crap and realize that they're penalizing the people that could make your storefront amazing outside of you buying up exclusive games to force people to use your stuff. All it does is sending the negative message and possibly turning away indie developers who may be trying to get their stuff onto their store. If you're trying to get a foothold, I get it. You want to spend your money and you want a money hat. But what about people that are coming to you because they feel they have a great product and it might help you? I could be working on the most amazing indie game in the world. And because I know how you treat indie developers, I'm not going to approach you.
Well, in that case, that's Epic's loss. Once they start bleeding money, they'll probably change their attitude because money talks.
I don't think they're ever going to bleed money. As long as Fortnite's doing amazing, which is the same reason.
Out their game engine too.
Yeah, and those are two biggest reasons why Epic Games is doing so well right now, because Paragon, they killed it. The updated remake, new Unreal Tournament they were working on with the community, they dropped that. They dropped everything for Fortnite. All right, so
yeah, I mean, can you like blame them though? Because I know people play Paragon, and I know people who like Unreal Tournament, but those games were not doing that great, and they were quality games. Like they were, I've played both. They're good games, but compared to Fortnite, like Fortnite is probably the biggest game to ever happen. Like Fortnite reaches regular people, not even just gamers, which still blows my mind. Like my parents ask me about Fortnite. That's how far of a reach this game has.
Yeah,
like,
I'll give it that.
To not focus on this game.
But you don't kill your other stuff to do that. There are many. I mean, Microsoft's a great example. They have Minecraft. They didn't kill Forza and Halo because Minecraft is doing so great.
But Forza and Halo are also really both huge.
Yeah, but so was Unreal Tournament. Before they killed it,
Unreal was not.
No, it was not. No, it was not. Unreal hasn't been good. Hasn't been great since I don't want to say Unreal Tournament 2008 or 2004. 2004. It wasn't that. It was that crap they put on the Xbox many years ago that really started making it go downhill. Unreal Championship. And then they put that on hiatus and they worked on Gears of War. I think Unreal died when Gears of War started getting really popular.
Yeah, I think you're not wrong in saying that.
This
whole Epic situation sucks. Like
it does.
But the thing is, this is like the only way for this storefront to still be a thing a year from now, because they're going up against Steam, which is gargantuan in the PC market. Like Steam is the place to get PC games.
They're one of the places. I mean, outside of so Steam is the third party market, and for example, like Origin for EA games, Bethesda for Bethesda games, Uplay for Uplay games. Every storefront has a purpose if they're a first party game. Steam is a giant, but it didn't happen overnight. And Epic has that potential to be the same thing. The problem is they're doing it the wrong way. Or they're doing it the only way they think they can. And you're just upsetting people. I mean, I as much as I complain about Epic's Game Store, I don't hate it. I hate what they're doing. I hate how they're using their money and basically saying, you know what, we're the new kid in the block and we've got the biggest hammer. And if you come to me, I'm going to hit you with the hammer. I mean, yeah, I think that's the only way they can probably compete with Steam, but you just rejected one of the biggest games that's not being seen on Steam right now because of oversaturation.
That game. Like that game would have been right at home on their service.
Exactly. It's like that would have helped you.
But like in terms of buying up exclusives, like it's dirty and it sucks and it's all negative press. But like, I don't think Epic wants a Uplay or an Origin where it's just their games, because Epic doesn't really have that many first party games anymore.
Well, that's the thing. They don't have to do that. They can survive like GOG has survived or Ichigo has survived.
I love GOG. GOG is not Steam. GOG is nowhere near on the same level of popularity as Steam. And
no, it's not.
I think they want to be the direct competitor to Steam. I think they want to be on that level. And they have the money to do it.
Well, they have the money to do it. Okay, I know let's talk about Epic Game Store. Let's just do that. My biggest issue with them, on top of what they're doing with the money, and I talked to Steam, to Tim Sweeney and said this to him on Twitter. I said, look, you released a storefront that you're trying to compete with Steam, and you don't have a fraction of the features. Why would you do that?
And they put out a roadmap, and it's like you're not getting achievements till like the fall. You should have launched with achievements.
You should have launched with game saves, cloud game saves.
There's no shopping cart on the website.
There's no catalog on the website. You go to the website, and that's the catalog. It's like, come on.
It's embarrassing how feature-light this store is.
But yet they want to compete with Steam. And the only way to do that is to buy up exclusives or to buy up games that were supposed to be on Steam and then they got pulled at the last second. Or
I don't like that. The whole Metro deal.
Metro.
Like, if that would have been announced as an Epic Game Store exclusive before it was on Steam, that would
have
been
fine.
But the fact that it got pulled from Steam and people had already paid for it, that's not okay.
They did that with Metroid. I'm sorry, Metro. Jesus Christ. They did it with Metro. They did it with Division 2. They did it with Phoenix Point. There's a couple other games that did it with, smaller games, but the people aren't really complaining. There are a bunch of games coming out now. I think they were supposed to be on Steam. I think Control. Is Control missing Steam now?
I don't think Control was ever on Steam for pre-order.
They had stated it was coming to Steam.
Yeah, they said it was coming to Steam, but I don't know if you could ever purchase it on Steam. I don't think the pre-order page was up. Let me check that real quick though.
No, it's on Steam. It doesn't have a pre-order though. It just says available 2019.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that's possibly another game.
Yeah, that's weird.
That possibly could be another game that's because everything now is to be. Yeah, this could be off of Steam. We'll have to watch this.
Yeah, wait for the pre-order page to go down. We'll get an article up.
Yep. Oh, trust me.
Yeah. And I can understand with Metro because that game was available for pre-order since it got announced. Was not last year, but 2017, I think. Microsoft's E3. And the Epic Game Store didn't exist back then.
Yep. I was there. I was at the conference. I was in the second row of seats because that was the first year I went to E3. They showed off the Xbox One X, and then it was like all the games were coming out: Dragon Ball Fighters and Metro. Yeah.
And it's understandable why that was on Steam and then it wasn't, but Epic shouldn't have gone to Metro for an exclusive. You should have picked up games that were announced more recently, now that the Epic Game Store is a thing. Because if you buy a game for exclusivity that was announced before your storefront was announced, you're going to have to pull it from the other stores. And that's just bad press.
My own issue, again, about all that, again, is basically you're using, again, console tactics on a platform that has been open. Yeah. And I don't like that.
Yeah, PC gamers have been to deal with exclusives for decades.
But yeah, people are like, oh, this is competition. No, this is not. Okay. And I would love to see this happen, but the flip side, I don't want to see this happen. As much as people say Epic has money, how much money do you think Valve has?
Valve has a lot of money.
Valve
every Steam sale. They have so much money.
They can easily go and say, we want to buy that game as an exclusive.
Yeah, but Valve has such a laissez-faire type of approach to Steam. They just kind of let everything run. And that's Steam's biggest problem. They have a lack of curation. But I think Epic's taking it to the other extreme where they're curating too hard.
Well, the problem with that is, remember back in the day, Steam was all about curation and people got pissed off. So they backed off. And a good example of that is the Rape Day title.
Yeah.
They were going to go with it. They were like, we're not getting involved. We're not getting involved. And then Rape Day started hitting the media. It started hitting press. And for good reason, they said, you know what? This game's not going to stay here. And I don't think that's curation. I think that's moderation. They were like, you know what? This is not going to be here. This is bad. This is wrong. It should not be here. I'm all for that. Taking down the stuff that shouldn't be there, great. But if somebody puts up a shovelware game, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to go anywhere.
I think it makes it harder to find quality titles.
It does. It definitely does. This is why they need to have filters. They need to have filters, better filters, which is coming with the update because they are doing update to Steam. So that's good. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
Steam needs a lot of work because Steam is 99.9% trash. Most of those games are asset flips and they're low effort. And it sucks because the only way to see good stuff is top selling. And that's only going to be the biggest AAA titles on there. Occasionally stuff does go through, Risk of Rain 2. is top seller on Steam right now.
You can use the curator feature as well.
Yeah, the curator, but like,
Yeah.
Still, I don't think you should have to follow people to find games. I think,
No, I agree. I agree with that one.
man, it's
again,
a scary time for video games. There's all these new frontiers that we're doing. Like Steam as a competitor, there's streaming services. Apple has a service now.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah,
to
it's
see
so
that.
great. Yeah, I'm so excited.
It's an example of Steam versus Epic Game Store because it is a competition now. We're taking this to one extreme to the other extreme.
Well, my biggest question is with all this stuff coming out, is it actually going to work this time around? Because if you remember, back in the 70s, during the first golden age of gaming, it practically almost killed the gaming industry due to oversaturation.
I wouldn't say
we're heading one more time.
I wouldn't say we're that bad off, because there are more gamers now than there was then. There are more platforms, and gaming has become entrenched in our society. I don't think we'll have an issue like that. We may have one, but not as bad as that. We won't see another crash. No.
Yeah, it's too big now. There's no way it's gonna crash. It's too ingrained into society nowadays.
I mean, when you've got people who knows who Ninja is, which we'll talk about him in a moment, and you got parents like, what is this Fortnite? And you're right, because my mom asked me that. And I was like, what? Why are you asking me that? Yeah. And she's 63. She doesn't know what the hell Fortnite is. Why are you calling me and asking me what Fortnite is, Mom?
Actually, I can even attest to that. People at my job who don't even game are actually talking about Fortnite, especially the dances. That's their main concern.
The hell
it's crazy how big that game became. Because I remember when Fortnite first got announced, no one really cared because that was Save the World. And then Battle Royale blew up overnight. I paid for Battle Royale when they announced it because I wanted a PUBG kind of thing on console. So I was like, I'm going to buy this and see if it's good. And then it just blew up.
I feel so bad because Save the World was their biggest thing. And they were like thinking about canning it. And then PUBG came out and then they adapted PUBG into it. And it was like, see you later. We're taking over the world.
It still blows my mind how that happened. That's got to be one of the biggest turnarounds ever for anything.
Yeah. And I think, they did a good thing. I also think that Bluehole or whoever is running PUBG now, or PUBG Corporation, is kicking themselves because they did not capitalize on it. They just sat there. They were like, yeah, we got this. And they're doing the same thing they did to DayZ that Fortnite is doing to them.
So here's a dumb question, because obviously I don't like Battle Royale games. I've tried PUBG. I thought it was too slow. It turned me off. And all of a sudden Battle Royale just blew up. So I don't really follow the scene, so this might be the most ignorant question in the universe, but is Apex Legends still beating Fortnite, or is it back on top?
I think it is still ahead of Fortnite. Apex Legends is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't think it'll stay ahead of Fortnite. I think Fortnite still has more staying power because Fortnite's such a brand now, but Apex isn't going anywhere either.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hard fought battle. I even like right now. Let's take a look on Twitch right now.
Like Apex just now got the first battle pass. Like it's still starting up.
But that was quick though. That was very quick.
Yeah, it was very quick. And it got its first new legend, and there's rumors of another one coming with this in the same battle pass. So it looks like they're adopting Epic's strategy of updating constantly with meaningful updates.
Yeah.
Which is why Fortnite is so popular and why it's still a thing, because every week there's a new wild thing that changes the game.
I agree. I do think Apex Legends, for me, I like the battle or the combat a lot more than what is in Fortnite because I can't stand building. So there's that.
Yeah,
I like the communication system, the pinging system in the Apex game or in Apex Legends. It makes the gameplay so much better. You don't have to have a headset on. You can tell people what you need to do. I like how the weapons feel. The aiming's a lot better than Fortnite. And the characters, and we're getting more characters. So
yeah, dude, the characters are so great. Plus, it's just Titanfall. Like I love Titanfall.
Yeah, Titanfall was good. Titanfall 2 was amazing. Maybe we'll get a Titanfall 3 after all this. Who knows? But
we won't be able to buy an Xbox One.
Yeah, that was the bad thing. Titanfall 2 was not Xbox One exclusive though. I told you, go play it. It's cheap, dirt cheap now.
Go play Titanfall 2, please.
Go do it. I will buy you a copy. Go play it.
Masterpiece. One of the best FPS campaigns I've ever played.
See, Josh, did I not tell you this last time we talked?
You guys are twisting my arm. Fine.
I paid $60 for that game, and I would have paid more. It's like $5 right now.
And I guarantee
Go play it.
You're gonna fall in love with the mech. You're gonna fall in love with BT.
Yeah, and the multiplayer is populated again because of Apex.
It did? Wow.
Yeah, it went out from like 50 players worldwide to like 5,000. So there's like matches now.
Yeah, the multiplayer in that game died off really quick.
Yeah, because they released like 3 days after Battlefield and like 2.
Yeah. Yeah. They sent Titanfall 2 out to die.
Apparently that was Respawn's decision, not EA.
But they're the same fucking company. EA should be like, you know what?
Because everyone said that EA was like making them release it then, but Respawn came out and they're like, no, we believed in the game that much. I mean, rightfully so. It was a great product, but man, if they really thought they could compete with Battlefield and Call of Duty, I don't know what they're thinking.
You cannot release a single player game with a multiplayer campaign against a game that is built around multiplayer.
If that game would have launched in January, it would have been a different story. We would be talking about that game like every day.
Yeah, I agree.
Because that's the sweet spot for releasing like more niche titles. Like Monster Hunter World blew up because of the January release date.
So, all right, let's go ahead and move on to the last topic. This one is pretty bittersweet. So,
layoffs in the gaming industry continue.
I love talking about layoffs. I love about talking about closures. We've seen so many of them since the beginning of this year, and it doesn't stop. All right, so we're talking about EA. EA laid off 350 employees from the marketing. What was it? Marketing, PR.
Yeah, they pretty much pulled an Activision. Is what they did.
Yeah, and they closed down EA Japan, which many people weren't even aware it even existed. I'm hoping these people will find new jobs in the game industry because it's just so volatile right now. You know, ArenaNet closed, did a bunch of layoffs. There was another company, I can't remember who it was.
Telltale.
Telltale was last year, and they're gone. Well, they're back in somewhat capacity with Epic Games to release the last couple of games of The Walking Dead.
Yeah, that just wrapped up, didn't it?
It just wrapped up. Yep. So after that, they're done. There's been a bunch of companies. Besides that, EA laid off, closed Visceral Games, the company or the team behind Dead Space, which I'm still livid about. Yeah, see, I mean, it's just a common occurrence in the game industry that's happening way too much. But my gripe with this one is you're looking at this and you're talking about this on Twitter and other places, and you got EA saying, well, we can't afford to do this. We got to restructure. We don't have enough money, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And yet you turn around and pay Ninja $1 million to stream Apex Legends and other streamers, a couple grand to play the same game. And it's like, wait. You paid him to play a game where these other people probably never even saw nearly as much money as he's gotten off of that, and you let them go. And the problem that I'm having with this, and I get it. We're in a flux right now when it comes to journalism and exposure that streamers, YouTubers, or as they call them now, influencers, are such a big thing that a lot of companies looking at them instead of devoting their own resources to actually market their own game and get the word of mouth out there. I'm split on that. Mainly because, we are, it affects us. It mainly affects us more so, and other people in the same positions we are, because we're not an IGN, we're not a Kotaku. We could get hurt if these big companies say, you know what, we don't want to talk to you anymore, we don't want to deal with you anymore because you're not grossing 1 million viewers or a million unique visitors a month. It's like, that's ridiculous. We can't do that. But streamers can do that. Streamers can reach out to these people and talk to these people and play a game, influence these people. And it's not always a good thing, because I've seen some of these streamers and they're not all that great. I mean, there's nothing more frustrating than watching somebody play a brand new game. And I'm going to point out, actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to drop any names. I will just say that watching a couple streamers play Sekiro after it came out was enlightening. And I'm going to leave it at that.
We're going to just continue to beat the dead horse and call out Polygon for their playthrough of Doom.
Oh, fuck's sakes.
Polygon.
We would never let that go. Never.
They did another one.
People at Polygon, but oh man, Polygon.
There was another one they did that was terrible. I'm not, Polygon, and God, those people. The Verge, because The Verge has some really messed up things as well. I'm talking about that how to build a PC video. Oh my god, that was so terrible. That was so bad. Oh my god. So bad that you had the entirety of every popular YouTube tech person making fun of that video.
Yep, Gamers Nexus ripped them apart on that one. It was so satisfying to watch them do that.
But anyway, getting back to this, the closures and the eventual shift to influencers, I get it. I mean, I really get it, but I don't think it's worth you killing people's jobs because you can pay a streamer to do this, because not all these streamers are doing a great job. I mean, there were other companies that paid a streamer to stream a game for them, and it was terrible. The people that watched the stream complained that this was terrible, and they stated this is not a good way to show off your game. Not everybody is a fighting cowboy or a ninja or a shroud, and that also comes back and it goes to this. You keep feeding the big cats. Where's the space for the other people? You could probably say, yeah, I'm going to keep giving this guy the money because he's the best of the best. All right, what about the people under it? I mean, you don't see the football teams and the basketball teams saying, you know what, we're going to get the best of the best of the best of the best, because there's a cap for that reason. Something has to give. You need to spread your love to everybody. But as we're seeing this, I don't know, it's not happening. And I'm hoping that it either plateaus or they get wise and realize this is not the best way to go. Because if we don't, we're going to see a lot more layoffs. Is it just me who thinks that?
No, I agree with you 100%. Man, publishers are just setting unrealistic goals and unrealistic it's everything about the gaming industry. They just want to make more money. That's all it is. And like Activision reported record profits. It was their best year in the company's history, and they laid off all those people.
That was ridiculous.
Because they didn't meet. How do you break every record your company has ever set and you still fail to meet expectations? It just makes no sense to me. And I know investors and shareholders have these requirements that they set, but you can't, there's people's livelihoods at stake. Like, game developers are treated so poorly, and the industry is so broken and in need of so many changes and reworks. But I don't think they're going to happen. Not anytime soon.
And you know what makes me more upset more than anything? Because when they do this, they restructure these companies or they lay off these people. And the CEOs and the CTOs and the COOs and all the other big dogs out there, nothing happens to them. They don't get pay cuts. They don't get demoted.
They get bonuses.
They get bonuses. You're running a company into the ground. Here's $10 million. Good job. Like, what? What? That's not how it's supposed to go. Oh, he's leaving the company, but we're going to give him a $20 million bonus. And I look at these articles and I go, what? How does that make any sense? I'm in the wrong field. I should have went to school to be somebody who runs a company and then burns it to the ground and get paid as I'm leaving. The game industry is in a really bizarre state, and I don't want to see this keep happening. But as long as these companies think that this is the way to go, it's going to continue. And I have no disrespect to Ninja or any other people because, A, I don't know them. I don't watch their stuff. I don't care about Fortnite. I like Apex Legends, but I don't play it like that every day. I don't want to say you don't deserve it. You deserve to get paid for what you do. And these guys are good at what they do, and they are good for exposure. But I don't think that a streamer should be paid $1 million to play a game.
Yeah. I think, especially in the case of Apex Legends, I think if they didn't do the Apex partner thing and have all those people stream that game, then we wouldn't be talking about it right now. I think it'd be a complete failure. I don't think Ninja needed a whole $1 million to play Apex Legends. But they needed Ninja on board at day one, right after that announcement ended. They needed everybody on Twitch playing this game. But it doesn't work for every game like that. Like, Apex is a very streamable game. It's a battle royale game. It's the most popular genre on Twitch.
Right.
But something like Sekiro, I don't think streams very well. And if Activision were to pay all these streamers to stream that day one, I don't think it would have any effect on that game's sales. It would have a very, very slight marginal effect on that game's sales.
Well, a game like Sekiro is in the grand scheme of things, it's a niche game.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as we played, we rave about it. There are other people who are not in the same boat, who don't like fighting the same enemy over and over, who don't like overwhelming odds, who don't like fighting a boss that freaking one-shots you the first time you look at their face. People aren't like that.
Yeah, but I think even for like more mainstream games like The Division 2, which I see commercials for on TV all the time, they're very obviously trying to reach a very general audience.
Mm-hmm.
That game, if Ubisoft were to pay Ninja $1 million to stream it, it wouldn't have any effect on the game sales.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. Like, all right, so here's a good example right now. Just you said that. I'm looking at Twitch, and it's really funny though. The number one game right now is Grand Theft Auto 5 because it has a very big online
community and everything.
Yeah, it is huge.
Also, Summit streaming.
What's that?
Summit streaming it too. He's bringing 52,000 viewers.
Yeah,
he's putting it above Fortnite single-handedly.
You've got another person who's got 43. This is ridiculous. Okay, so you got that. Fortnite's next. League of Legends, which is always up there. Funny enough, the IRL or the
just chatting.
Yeah. I guess that's so. Followed up with Apex Legends. So the fourth popular game was Apex Legends. PUBG, FIFA, and then it drops. It drops 20,000 to FIFA. Sekiro, the Division is only at 12,000.
That game also came out almost a month ago at this point.
Yeah, there's always a shift. I mean, I'm looking at these numbers on Twitch, and it is a Friday night, and so it could be lower. People are doing their own thing. But even if I go over to Mixer, which is nowhere near Mixer, I'm not gonna. Oh, I love Mixer. I love the technology.
Too, but man, it's nowhere near Twitch.
Yeah, and it looks like they've. I don't want to say given up, but the push is not there. Fortnite's got 18,000, Apex Legends 3,000, PUBG 2,000, The Division 1,000. Yeah, looking at
outperforming Division.
Forza doesn't count.
Yeah, because people have a
freaking influence
stream, so you can get influence.
Yeah, and they can't do anything about the. God, that is so annoying. I remember when Forza first came out, and one dude had like 15,000. I'm like, the dude's just.
It's just his car.
And he's got the numbers to become a partner because of that. Like, come on. But yeah, EA, I don't like that. I think that's not the way to go. I really hope other companies do not follow suit. That'll be terrible. I get it.
Because a lot of companies, they just think like, okay, we have a game, make sure people are streaming it, but it's not that simple. It's not black and white like that.
No, it is not. It is not. And if it was, well, everybody would be doing it.
Yeah.
So I guess
the gaming industry sucks. Just at the end of the day, everything about it. It's awful.
It's volatile. Cool. You can lose your job, you can lose your livelihood, but the games are fantastic.
Yeah, man.
People are toxic.
Talented people.
And people are toxic.
Yeah, toxicity is a huge problem. You got these passionate people that they go and work for these companies to do something they love, and they go do their dream of making video games, but they're tossed to the ringer, and then they get fired in like 6 years, and they lose all hope and passion for this industry.
And then when they go form another company, indie game, and they pitch it to Epic Games Store, they reject them.
Yeah, and Epic's like, nah.
Jesus, we've come full circle. Oh, boy. All right, Josh. Diego, anything else you guys want to talk about? Anything maybe positive? Hey, you know what? So as we were recording this, I saw something regarding Steam's or Valve's rumored VR headset, and it looks like they're actually doing one.
Yeah, their own.
Does it come with Half-Life 3? If not, I'm not interested.
It better. Valve's still working on those VR games. They have 3 in development, I think.
But the weird thing is, didn't they get rid of a lot of their hardware people, including the people that were working on the VR headset not too long ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the people developing the games are still on board. But yeah, I mean, I guess the layoffs for the hardware people line up perfectly with the hardware getting announced.
Yeah, isn't that convenient? And they had worked with ATC with the Vive, and it's even on Steam. So I wonder how that's going to work.
Because they officially support the Vive. That's the official Steam VR headset. But now Valve is doing. It has a name. I think it's. Hold on, let me check it out real quick. Yeah, it's their own.
The Cosmos.
It's Index. It's their Index.
No. I'm talking about Valve. Vive has another one coming out.
Yeah,
the Cosmos.
And then Rift has the Rift S and then the Oculus Quest.
Yep.
The Valve Index, May 2019.
Yep. Doesn't really tell us much of anything. We got no hardware. Just
But
oh
it
hey,
looks like it'll have some cool tracking stuff. As
Don't
far as
check that
games,
out.
Valve needs to release at least one of those games they're working on for this headset to take over the Vive.
It would be awesome if they actually were working on Half-Life 3. I know the writer for that
They're
left a
not.
while ago. It would be awesome though.
They're
We've
not.
got this virtual headset. Oh, and
At the
Half-Life
very
3.
least, they had VR versions of Half-Life 2 and Team Fortress 2 available in the beta branches on Steam for a while, but they took them down. So those might come back.
And
Let me
see,
put it this way: when Steam stops producing money, and when Team Fortress 2 loot boxes stop producing money, and the Scrooge McDuck tower that fucking Gabe Newell swims in every day starts draining, then they'll make Half-Life 3. Until that happens, we ain't seeing that game.
well, as long as Steam exists, that's not happening either. So I guess we're
Yeah.
never going to see a Half-Life 3.
They don't need to make games anymore, which sucks because they're really talented.
So I'm just curious though, when we do see this new headset, what's going to happen with Vive? And I had talked to you about this earlier, Diego, that I wanted to pick up a VR headset because I've been watching it from afar. And I mean, I have the PlayStation VR. I haven't opened yet, but I mainly want to get one for the PC. And now we have a potential another player coming into the VR headset scene. It's like, oh, geez. What are you going to offer that we don't already see on the Vive or on Oculus Rift?
The only thing I could see them doing with this headset that would make it a must-buy of the other ones is exclusive content. But going with like the design philosophy behind Steam VR and like the whole open platform thing, I don't see them doing that. The only VR headsets with exclusive content are PSVR and Oculus Rift.
Yep.
And Oculus is putting a lot of money into really high quality experiences. Like a lot, they're selling these games at huge losses. PlayStation VR is kind of just picking up third-party developers, but making them release games exclusively because like most of the things are timed exclusives. Like Borderlands 2 VR is only on PSVR for now because that's supposed to expire soon. There's no official word on it, but like Skyrim VR, it was only a year. That's on Steam now and Oculus. The thing like Fallout 4 VR is only on Steam, but that won't come to PSVR because the PS4 can't handle that game.
And that was what I was going
on Steam.
That's what I was going to say. The issue I have with PSVR is the power, or the lack of power.
I love my PSVR. It's nothing compared to Oculus. It's blurry. The move controllers suck. The tracking, I don't care about resolution. Resolution, it's really not that big of a difference, especially because I'm on PS4 Pro. It's fine. The tracking is what sucks because Oculus and Vive have like real high quality tracking. PlayStation VR is still using PlayStation Move controllers and the PlayStation camera, and it's tracking using just regular lights, which even if you're playing in a pitch black room, it sucks. Like there's I play Firewall and Borderlands with my aim controller. My gun, I can hold it straight forward. It'll be going 45 degrees to the left. Like the drift is really bad. Games like Beat Saber that require like a lot of precision are not great on PSVR.
No, that's sad because I bought that just for that game.
It still works. It's unless you're like used to the Oculus like I am, you're not going to notice it as much. But once you try out high-end VR, like PC VR, you can't go back. And I only go back for exclusive content because PlayStation VR has some killer apps like Astrobot Rescue Mission and Moss and Firewall. And they have Blood and Truth out next month. And they just announced Ironman Vr. And I'm so glad they're not abandoning that headset. They just hit 4 million sold.
Oh, they put so much money behind it, though. They couldn't. And it was really weird. Well, look this way. They killed off the PS Vita, so I guess they needed something else.
The only thing holding that device back is the tracking. And I think PSVR 2 is going to fix that. Because they can't keep the move-ons. Those have to go.
You think they're going to do another one?
Yeah, I think it won't launch with PS5, but I think it'll be halfway through PS5 whenever that happens.
All right, well, you heard it first.
The first one is barely just now hitting its stride.
There's
another one coming. There's another one coming for sure. It'll just be a while. I think PSVR still has a price cut or two before we see a second one.
It already had a price cut, didn't it? Well, holidays.
Yeah.
But
That's
you can still get the bundle with Borderlands and the moves and Beat Saber for like $300, I think.
Yeah, I got
cheap for a VR headset.
Yeah, that's what I got. I paid like $250 for it during the holidays.
But I see it dropping down to below $200 eventually. Maybe not that whole bundle, but like just the headset and maybe the moves for $199. I can see happening.
All right. Well, it's interesting. It has some good VR talk on here. See, Diego, you're gonna run all the VR stuff now since you're the VR expert here, and I learned a lot from you already. So I think we're done. I think we're. Oh wow, we're at the hour and 20-minute mark, guys. See what happens when you're having fun.
Yeah. And speaking of VR, I'm just going to say this. Everyone that's losing their job right now, there's some good openings over at Visionary Realms. And as we know, every day that goes by brings us one day closer to the launch of Pantheon, Rise of the Fallen, hashtag the Nation Napalm.
Mm-hmm. Says this WoW player.
Hey, temporarily, once Pantheon hits, I'm fully going into that game.
Mm-hmm. We'll have to see. I mean, yeah, you've already put some money down for that, so yeah.
Oh yeah, I
know
put like $300 into that game already.
We'll have to wait and see what happens. All right, I guess we're done here, guys. So, Josh, want to take us out? Unless there's anything else anybody else wants to say before we say goodbye for tonight. I got none.
Me neither. Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good.
All right, so we are done.
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, for Keith Mitchell and Diego Perez, I am JJ Piedra saying, once again, Godspeed to all you out there in Radio Land. Peace.